she shared, was it a year and a half ago now, at a midpoint vigil, she shared her powerful testimony. She also, if you don't mind me mentioning your thing on Facebook, for those of you on Facebook, she has the Moses Minute on Tuesdays. If you tune into that, she's got some really insightful information that she shares on a weekly basis. So I'm going to have her share a little bit of a testimony of something that happened on the sidewalk just recently.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Has Lou made it here yet? She was supposed to be coming. Anyway, sometimes when we're out on the sidewalk, and things, Brad, Dale's not here. Hopefully I can have a couple more minutes. Oh, well, anyway, he said I can only have 5 to 7. But, sometimes when I've been out at the sidewalk, I don't interact with anyone other than maybe some of the other people who have come there to pray. But a couple weeks ago on Friday, oh my goodness, God was just so moving. And my friend Lou was out there with me. And we had, I always try to stand close to the driveway. And that way, I can kind of hop out there and engage with people. And I was so grateful for the training that Sarah Beener in her Sidewalk Advocates taught me so many different things. And, as I was standing there, all of a sudden this little gal rolled down her window. She was not too happy with us. And she said, "You shouldn't be doing what you're doing." And so I walked over and I kind of leaned on her car. And she said, "Don't touch my car." She was not really happy. And I just kind of listened to her a little bit. And then I started talking to her because she said, nobody should be made to keep their baby, if they don't want it or they're not ready. And I said, but the thing is, I always say, I am pro-choice. I think a woman has the right to do whatever she wants to with her own body. However, from the moment of conception, the DNA of the baby is different than that of the mother's. And therefore, it is no longer her body. And as I was talking to her and telling her these things, I said, well, we got to get out of the driveway. That's the one thing Sarah taught us. They can call the police on us if we're blocking the driveway. So I said, and this was a God thing. The parking space right next to the driveway was open. So I asked her, well, I'd love to talk to you. I've got some information for you. If you want to go ahead and pull over, then we can visit. She said, well, let me go get my scooters first, and then I'll come back. It's like, yeah, sure, she was going to. And you know what she did? She did. She came back. She pulled in the parking lot. And matter of fact, this little gal worked at a daycare, and she had called the daycare, and they said, that's fine. I don't need you till 4 o'clock. We had all the time in the world to talk. And so as I began to tell her about life in the womb, and I'll have these available later, and it talks about the DNA, it talks about, because I told her, I said, at 3 weeks, the heart is already beating. And then she said, well, yeah, if the heart's already beating, then I wouldn't believe in abortion. I said, but that's at 3 weeks. Most of the time, women don't even know they're pregnant at that time. And my goodness, she was so receptive. And my friend Lou, her grandson is an alpha baby. And I don't know if you know what that means, but it's a child. I see some shaking heads. Saved from abortion because he was going to be aborted. And now he's a school teacher. He's a marvelous singer. Brady Reed, you can hear him on YouTube. And so she had a great, powerful testimony. And then this little gal said, well, her friend had just had a baby, and she was going to go down to Texas in order to help her out. And my friend's granddaughter was like 18 months, and she had all of these clothes. And she said, well, hey, I can give you these clothes. You can take them with you. So it was just fantastic. And then Lou had to leave, and like Sharon was just saying, you get out there and you just can't leave when stuff are happening. And I think I was there over 2 hours too. And another gal came up very, very pregnant. And by this time, Lou had to leave, but another gal from one of the parishes, and I didn't get her name, she was there as well. And this lady said she was about a month off from delivery. And she said, every time I was going through some stuff in my marriage, kind of an abusive situation. Oh, she brought her daughter that looked to be about maybe 9 years old with her. And she said, every time I came to get an abortion, there was people out here praying, and it stopped me from wanting to get an abortion. So she kept her baby, and it was so exciting. And as I was talking to her, I don't know if you get the little babies. I lost the little blanket on it, but I always keep it in a bag because otherwise it gets dirty. So I showed this little baby to her daughter, and because this is a 12-week-old baby in the womb, and it's fantastic. And So we were able to visit with her, and then all of a sudden I turned around, because I always carry all of my information. This is scriptures, this is about the Alpha Center, because that was also what I gave to the little 19-year-old gal, along with, the life in the womb. And so I turned around to grab that, and another young man, about in his 20s, came up to us. Well, you do realize that they don't perform abortions here. Well, both I and the other gal said, yes, they do. And we started talking to him. And then he said, well, no, they don't. They send them over to Sanford, Nevada. Well, the gal I was with was Catholic. And Nevada is a Catholic hospital. And so she started talking with him. And so I turned back around to talk to the pregnant woman. It's like, oh my gosh, this was fantastic. And then a little bit later on, I think I was there alone for about a half an hour. A gentleman, again, rolled down his window and said, is this where they do abortions? And I said, well, yes, they do. And so I walked over to his car. He said, well, I'm a believer, and I'm not for abortions. And again, I said, well, hey, if you pull over, we can visit a little bit. So he pulled over, and then I was able to give him information so that now he could have what he needed to talk about his faith with others. And it was just fantastic. And a bit later, I had that little red folder, and I had moved it and put it down on the floor, and all of a sudden here comes a security guard from Planned Parenthood. Well, I just needed to see when you put it on the ground. And I said, oh, it's just my information. But, as she walked away, I just said, well, God bless you. That's what it's all about. The presence that we have there is godly and loving, and so that we're not causing problems, and that we're, getting out of the driveway and things like that. But it's fantastic. And, whatever that was, a year and a half ago when I spoke, I did tell and share about the fact that down in 1998, I had an abortion at Sioux Falls Planned Parenthood. And, God forgave me, He healed me. And that's why I fight so hard for the unborn. Because at that point in my life, I didn't realize that there was other options. And so that's why I, out on the sidewalk as much as I can, and fight to save those little babies right along with all of you. So God bless all of you as you continue praying. Here you go, Brad. Thank you.